Hello, intuitive Scorpio. July 11th, 2026 brings a quieter kind of clarity. One that doesn't arrive in a single dramatic moment, but slowly reveals itself as hidden pieces begin to connect. You may be noticing that recent experiences, conversations, or emotions are forming a larger pattern, inviting you to trust what your intuition has been sensing beneath the surface all along. Rather than pushing you toward immediate action, today's energy encourages you to pause long enough to recognize how much has already shifted within you. Some emotional patterns no longer ask to be analyzed again and again. Instead, they quietly invite you to release them with compassion. Like a river changing its course after seasons of steady movement, your inner landscape is making room for a version of yourself that feels more grounded, honest, and emotionally free. This isn't about becoming someone new, it is about allowing the layers that no longer reflect who you are to gently fall away. The Eight of Pentacles reminds you that meaningful transformation is rarely built through dramatic moments. It grows through consistent choices, thoughtful preparation, and quiet dedication. Whether you're refining a skill, developing a long-term project, or making careful decisions about your career, your steady efforts have been creating progress in ways that may only now be becoming visible. Trust that every intentional step strengthens a foundation designed to support lasting success rather than temporary achievement. Your relationships are also entering a period of meaningful evolution. With the influence of the Two of Cups and the Three of Cups, genuine connection becomes less about seeking approval and more about creating space for emotional honesty, mutual respect, and shared growth. You may find yourself recognizing which bonds encourage your authentic self and which ones belong to an earlier chapter of your life. The conversations that matter most now are the ones that allow trust to deepen naturally, without forcing outcomes or hiding behind old defenses. As these changes continue to unfold, remember the quiet wisdom represented by Enid, whose presence symbolizes the courage to move beyond self-doubt. Every disappointment you survived, every unanswered question, and every season of uncertainty has strengthened your ability to face life with greater emotional resilience. What once felt like vulnerability may now reveal itself as one of your greatest sources of wisdom, allowing compassion and confidence to exist side by side. Today invites you to reclaim your personal power with intention rather than urgency. Organize your energy where it truly belongs, acknowledge even the smallest signs of progress, and allow each thoughtful choice to carry you forward. Lasting transformation often happens beneath the surface long before it becomes visible, and the path opening before you reflects the quiet work you've already been doing within. As we continue, remember that this reading explores general energetic themes rather than fixed outcomes. Some reflections may resonate deeply with your present experience, while others may become meaningful at another time. Every person's journey unfolds differently, shaped by unique circumstances, lessons, and moments of growth. So allow your own intuition to guide you toward the messages that genuinely speak to where you are today. As you continue listening, allow these reflections to settle naturally rather than searching for immediate answers. Your intuition will recognize what belongs to your journey, while anything that doesn't resonate can simply be left behind without resistance. Every path unfolds differently, and today's reading is meant to offer perspective rather than certainty. In the moments ahead, we'll explore how today's energies may be influencing your relationships, career, financial decisions, physical well-being, and family dynamics. Before we move into those areas, I'd like to share a few symbolic guides that may accompany your experience today. If these daily readings continue to bring you clarity or encouragement, your support through a simple like helps this community continue to grow, and it is always deeply appreciated. Today's symbolic number is 11, accompanied by 44. These numbers are not predictions, but gentle reminders to stay present. If they appear throughout your day in conversations, addresses, receipts, or unexpected places, they may simply encourage you to pause and notice what thoughts or emotions are asking for your attention in that moment. The color that harmonizes beautifully with today's atmosphere is deep plum. Its rich tone reflects emotional depth, quiet confidence, and the wisdom that develops through lived experience. You may find yourself naturally drawn toward moments of stillness, where your intuition becomes clearer and decisions feel less forced. Sometimes the greatest clarity arrives when life grows quiet enough for you to hear your own inner voice. A meaningful chapter seems to be gradually unfolding before you. Rather than arriving with dramatic fanfare, it reveals itself through subtle shifts in perspective, renewed confidence, and a growing sense that you are becoming more aligned with the person you've been evolving into all along. Others may notice this change before you fully recognize it yourself, sensing a calm strength that doesn't need to announce its presence. One realization may become especially meaningful now. You didn't arrive here entirely on your own. Along the way, there were people who believed in you during uncertain seasons, who quietly encouraged your growth, or who reminded you of your worth when you struggled to see it yourself. Acknowledging those influences doesn't diminish your independence. Instead, it reflects emotional maturity, recognizing that accepting genuine support is often another expression of personal strength. Not every response to your growth will be encouraging, however. As your confidence becomes steadier, some people may misunderstand the changes they notice in you, or project their own uncertainty onto your progress. Your greatest challenge today is not proving yourself correct or responding to every opinion. It is protecting your peace by choosing where your energy truly belongs and allowing unnecessary noise to fade into the background. You may also notice an increase in emotional or mental intensity. Rather than scattering that energy, give it a meaningful direction. Return to creative work that has been patiently waiting for your attention. Organize the spaces that reflect your daily life. Move your body with intention, or spend time with the people who help you feel genuinely understood. Purposeful action has a way of restoring inner balance. As this quiet transformation continues, your sense of self-worth grows from a deeper place than external validation. You become more discerning about where your time, emotions, and attention are invested. Healthy boundaries begin to feel less like walls and more like expressions of self-respect, allowing every commitment and relationship to find its proper place. The Emperor appears not as a symbol of control, but of inner authority. His presence invites you to revisit old experiences with greater wisdom than before, seeing them not as burdens to carry, but as foundations that have strengthened your character. Looking back is no longer about reopening old wounds. It is about recognizing how far you've already traveled. Today's reading continues to emphasize renewal through conscious release. For Scorpio, this process feels especially meaningful because transformation often begins beneath the surface, long before it becomes visible to the outside world. The Death card does not speak of endings in a literal sense. Instead, it represents the quiet shedding of emotional patterns, outdated identities, and recurring cycles that have completed their purpose. You may recognize familiar themes repeating in relationships, career decisions, or beliefs you've carried for years. Rather than asking you to fight against those patterns, today's energy gently encourages you to understand which ones no longer belong to the person you are becoming. Like a river finding a new course after seasons of steady movement, your life creates space for something healthier each time you choose release over resistance. The resilience that has carried you this far remains one of your greatest strengths, but now it is joined by discernment, the wisdom to know when holding on no longer serves your growth. Allow today's transformative current to unfold without trying to control every step of it. What first appears to be an ending may eventually reveal itself as the gentle release of something that quietly completed its purpose long ago. Like leaves returning to the forest floor to nourish new growth, certain experiences are not disappearing to leave you empty. They are creating room for a life that reflects who you are becoming rather than who you once needed to be. The Death card speaks to Scorpio in a language that feels deeply familiar. It reminds you that renewal rarely arrives by adding more to your life. It often begins by shedding emotional layers that have grown too heavy to carry. You may notice recurring patterns in relationships, work, or personal beliefs coming back into view. Not to trap you in the past, but to offer one final opportunity to release them with understanding instead of resistance. Closely following this process, the Judgment card invites a profound moment of inner awakening. You may begin recognizing connections between experiences that once seemed unrelated, allowing hidden lessons to emerge with remarkable clarity. This isn't about becoming someone different overnight. It is about remembering the deeper values that have quietly guided you all along and trusting them enough to shape the choices you make from this point forward. Old family dynamics, emotional memories, or unfinished chapters may briefly rise to the surface, not to reopen old wounds, but to reveal how much your perspective has evolved. Sometimes the greatest form of healing is realizing that you no longer react to life from the same place you once did. As confusion gives way to understanding, your intuition becomes a steadier guide, encouraging you to move through relationships, personal goals, and future opportunities with greater authenticity. Justice then enters as a symbol of restored equilibrium rather than punishment or reward. Situations that once felt unfair may begin finding their natural balance through honest conversations, practical resolutions, or simply a new way of seeing what has happened. Rather than asking you to seek control over every outcome, this card encourages personal accountability and the quiet confidence that comes from acting with integrity, even when the path ahead remains uncertain. If legal matters, agreements, or important decisions have required patience, you may notice gradual signs that progress is finally taking shape. Seeds planted through consistency and thoughtful effort rarely bloom overnight, but they do develop strong roots beneath the surface. Trust that what has been cultivated with sincerity is moving toward a more stable and lasting outcome. The world marks the completion of an important cycle, inviting you to recognize the distance you've already traveled before, immediately focusing on what comes next. Scorpio often grows through profound inner seasons that few people ever witness, and this card acknowledges that invisible journey. Patterns that once repeated endlessly begin losing their hold, particularly those connected to emotional healing, self-worth, or long-standing relationship dynamics. You may also feel drawn toward new environments, fresh perspectives, or experiences that broaden your understanding of both yourself and the world around you. Rather than chasing change for its own sake, you're beginning to recognize opportunities that naturally align with the person you've become. There is quiet satisfaction in knowing that every lesson, both welcome and difficult, has contributed to a stronger sense of wholeness. The Chariot now shifts the energy from reflection into intentional movement. Instead of scattering your attention across countless possibilities, it encourages you to move with purpose, choosing direction over urgency. External challenges or moments of self-doubt may still appear, but they no longer define your path. They become opportunities to practice patience, resilience, and emotional discipline while keeping your focus on what genuinely matters. Whether your attention is on your relationships or your professional life, steady progress will accomplish far more than impulsive action. There is strength in measured decisions, thoughtful timing, and trusting your instincts without feeling the need to force immediate results. Every deliberate step carries you toward achievements that are built to endure rather than fade. Your physical energy also deserves thoughtful care during this period. You may notice moments of heightened motivation and emotional intensity, but even powerful currents require calm shores where they can settle. Rest is not a sign of slowing down. It is part of the rhythm that allows your body, mind, and emotions to remain resilient through periods of meaningful growth. Pay close attention to your breathing, your sleep, and the subtle signals your body offers throughout the day. Balance becomes especially important when your enthusiasm encourages you to take on more than necessary. Saturn gently reminds you that sustainable progress is never measured by how much you accomplish in a single day, but by how consistently you care for yourself while moving toward your goals. Professionally, a quiet shift in recognition may already be unfolding. The patience, discernment, and steady commitment you've demonstrated over time are becoming increasingly visible, even if acknowledgement has taken longer than you expected. New responsibilities or opportunities may begin appearing, reflecting the trust you've earned through consistent actions rather than dramatic displays of talent. Not every leader expresses appreciation openly, and not every workplace offers immediate validation. Even so, genuine skill has a way of revealing itself through results. Continue refining your work with integrity and confidence, knowing that lasting growth is built through the quiet excellence you bring to each step rather than the opinions of those who failed to recognize it right away. In the end, genuine work is a way of revealing its value, whether recognition arrives immediately or takes time to unfold. Quiet consistency often leaves a deeper mark than loud achievements, and the foundations you've been building are stronger than they may appear from the outside. That said, this part of your journey also calls for discernment, because not everyone will understand the changes they begin to notice in you. As your confidence becomes more settled, some people may respond with admiration, while others may react from their own insecurities. This isn't necessarily about you. It often reflects where they are in their own lives. Protect your peace by choosing your responses carefully, allowing diplomacy, patience, and quiet confidence to become your greatest strengths. You don't need to defend your worth every time it is questioned. Your actions will continue to speak with far greater clarity than any argument could. If you're searching for new professional opportunities, trust the pace of the process. Interviews, paperwork, or extended conversations may require more patience than expected, but each step is helping place you where your abilities can genuinely be appreciated. You may even feel drawn toward a field you hadn't seriously considered before, discovering possibilities that align more closely with the person you're becoming, rather than the one you used to be. If you've been thinking about building something of your own, this period quietly favors thoughtful preparation and strategic planning. Success is unlikely to come from rushing forward, but from combining experience with careful timing. The lessons you've gathered over the years were never wasted. Even the chapters that once felt difficult have refined your judgment and strengthened your ability to recognize opportunities with greater clarity. Financially, today's energy suggests a gradual but meaningful shift in perspective. Old beliefs rooted in limitation, uncertainty, or repeated disappointments may begin losing their influence, making space for healthier habits and a stronger relationship with abundance. Rather than depending on sudden luck, your future stability grows through wiser decisions, greater confidence, and a clearer understanding of what truly deserves your time and resources. The symbolism of today's cards points toward renewal rather than instant rewards. Doors that once appeared firmly closed may reveal unexpected openings, sometimes through conversations, agreements, or circumstances that initially seemed unrelated. Timing becomes one of your greatest allies now, encouraging you to trust that not every opportunity must arrive quickly to be significant. If financial paperwork, contracts, or legal matters have required patience, there are encouraging signs that progress can begin taking shape. Justice reminds you that balance often returns quietly, restoring what once felt uneven through practical resolutions rather than dramatic events. Continue making thoughtful choices, allowing both intuition and careful planning to work together instead of relying on impulse alone. As your confidence deepens, outside interference gradually loses its influence over your decisions. Instead of measuring success by comparison, you begin recognizing abundance as something cultivated through consistency, creativity, and emotional stability. The path ahead may also introduce opportunities connected with travel, long-term investments, or projects that broaden your perspective while strengthening your sense of security. When it comes to matters of the heart, a gentle thaw begins after a season that may have felt emotionally distant. Trust starts returning in quiet ways, through honest conversations, shared understanding, and the comfort of feeling fully accepted for who you are. You no longer feel the need to protect every vulnerable part of yourself, because emotional openness begins to feel safer than emotional distance. Your natural magnetism becomes more noticeable now, not because you're trying harder to be seen, but because genuine confidence has a quiet way of attracting others. There is a warmth in your presence that comes from knowing yourself more deeply, and those closest to you are likely to notice that change before you do. Even ordinary conversations may begin carrying greater intimacy as walls slowly give way to trust. If your relationship has recently moved through a period of uncertainty, this is a meaningful time to reconnect with patience and compassion. Affection becomes easier to express, misunderstandings soften, and shared moments begin feeling lighter again. Strong relationships are rarely defined by the absence of challenges. They are strengthened by the willingness to grow through them together. If you're single, your heart may feel more open than it has in quite some time. The attraction others notice isn't rooted in appearance alone. It comes from the quiet confidence of someone who has begun healing old doubts and embracing their own worth. If there is someone who has remained in your thoughts, you may discover that life is naturally creating opportunities for your paths to cross, inviting connection to unfold without force, simply one genuine moment at a time. If someone has quietly remained in your thoughts, you may notice life creating opportunities for your paths to cross in ways that feel surprisingly natural. Rather than forcing outcomes or searching for certainty, allow each interaction to unfold at its own pace. Meaningful connections often grow through small moments, a lingering conversation, an unexpected smile, or the quiet comfort of simply enjoying another person's company without trying to define the future too quickly. If you're getting to know someone new, let curiosity guide you more than expectation. Every shared laugh, thoughtful message, and honest conversation becomes another piece of a relationship, discovering its own rhythm. Real intimacy isn't built through perfect timing alone, but through the willingness to be seen as you truly are, while allowing the other person the same freedom. Within your family, subtle but meaningful changes may also be unfolding. Long-standing emotional patterns or unspoken assumptions can begin losing their hold, as new conversations create space for deeper understanding. Sometimes healing begins not because everyone agrees, but because someone chooses to listen with greater compassion than before. You may find yourself seeing certain family stories from a different perspective, recognizing that each generation has carried its own fears, hopes, and unfinished lessons. This broader understanding doesn't erase the past, but it can soften its weight. Honest dialogue, practical compromises, and mutual respect have the potential to restore balance where tension once lingered. Even if these adjustments create temporary discomfort, they are helping strengthen the foundations of your closest relationships. By approaching change with patience instead of resistance, you quietly encourage others to do the same. Your emotional steadiness becomes an example, creating an atmosphere where trust, generosity, and genuine support can continue growing long after today's conversations have ended. Your personal energy carries unusual depth today, though it may express itself more like a steady tide than a rushing wave. Jupiter's influence encourages expansion, making your thoughts, emotions, and ambitions feel larger than usual. The opportunity lies not in doing more, but in directing that energy toward what truly reflects your long-term values. Your natural determination becomes one of your greatest strengths when it is paired with discernment. Doors that once seemed firmly closed may begin opening through quiet persistence, thoughtful conversations, or opportunities that arrive when you least expect them. What you choose to nurture now has the potential to grow into something far more meaningful than immediate results might suggest. At the same time, be mindful of emotional intensity. The same passion that fuels meaningful progress can become exhausting if it isn't balanced with reflection. A desire to resolve everything quickly, prove a point, or control uncertain situations may only create unnecessary tension. Some answers reveal themselves more clearly when you allow events to unfold instead of pushing against them. True strength isn't measured by having the final word. It often appears through the ability to remain calm when emotions run high, to listen before responding, and to recognize that different perspectives can coexist without diminishing your own. Quiet confidence leaves space for understanding, and that kind of wisdom often accomplishes more than force ever could. If you're currently studying or preparing for important academic goals, this is an encouraging period for focused learning. Your mind is especially receptive to absorbing new ideas when you approach them with curiosity rather than pressure. Whether you're preparing for entrance exams, professional certifications, or university assessments, steady preparation will strengthen both your confidence and your ability to retain what truly matters. For those already immersed in their studies, this is an excellent time to deepen your understanding rather than simply memorize information. Concepts may begin connecting more naturally, allowing you to see broader patterns and relationships between ideas. Trust your preparation, remain patient with the learning process, and allow your growing confidence to support every step forward. If you're pursuing an academic goal or learning something new, trust the steady progress you're making. Growth isn't always measured by dramatic breakthroughs. More often, it appears through small moments of understanding that gradually come together until a subject that once seemed difficult suddenly feels familiar. Continue showing up with curiosity and patience. Your efforts are creating stronger foundations than you may realize. As we turn to today's compatibility, remember that these signs represent symbolic opportunities for connection and reflection rather than fixed outcomes. The people who cross your path today may simply mirror qualities that help you understand yourself more deeply, whether those encounters last for a moment or become part of a much longer chapter. First, Taurus may remind you of the quiet strength found in simplicity. A conversation, an unexpected gesture, or even a shared moment of silence could encourage you to reconsider what truly deserves your attention. You may begin noticing patterns hidden within ordinary experiences, discovering that the smallest details often carry the most meaningful insights. What seems insignificant today could become the very perspective that helps you release what no longer belongs in your life. Next, Pisces brings an atmosphere of compassion, imagination, and emotional reassurance. Time spent with someone carrying this energy may remind you that vulnerability is easier to embrace when you feel genuinely supported. Whether it comes through an invitation, an uplifting conversation, or spontaneous laughter that lightens your mood, you'll be reminded that resilience doesn't always come from standing alone. Sometimes strength is found in allowing others to walk beside you. Finally, Libra encourages balance, perspective, and the courage to move beyond familiar limits. Someone connected with this energy may inspire you to take a step you quietly postpone, not because you're being pressured, but because you're beginning to trust your own readiness. Whether it's exploring a new opportunity, entering an unfamiliar environment, or making a decision that once felt intimidating, you'll discover that confidence often grows through action rather than waiting for certainty. The experiences unfolding today are less about reaching a destination than about becoming more present with your own journey. Each conversation, each decision, and each unexpected encounter has the potential to reveal something meaningful when viewed with openness and self-awareness. Life often expands in subtle ways before its changes become obvious. Scorpio, thank you for sharing these moments of reflection with me today. Remember that this reading is not meant to define your future or replace your own judgment. Instead, let it serve as a gentle invitation to observe your experiences with greater awareness, trust your intuition, and remain open to the lessons that naturally reveal themselves over time. If today's message resonated with you, I truly appreciate your support through a like. And if you'd like to continue receiving these daily reflections, you're warmly invited to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue exploring these symbolic journeys together. Thank you once again for your presence and your trust. May today's insights stay with you long after this reading, quietly guiding your next steps with wisdom, clarity, and a deep sense of inner peace.